Welcome to VW 6.5. Before we start, we have to recall the HA rules. And there's one in particular we want to talk about today. That's going to be case number 3. So remember the generic function, f of x equals a x to the m plus dot 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 over b x to the n plus dot dot dot. Case 3 is going to be the situation where m is greater than n, meaning the top exponent is greater than the bottom exponent. In that situation, we said there is no HA. And what happens is there is an oblique. I'll write that out for you. There's an oblique asymptote, an OA, or some books call it a slant asymptote. The SA. And recall the way you do that is you simply use long division. So here, we're going to find the slant asymptote, or the oblique, and we're also going to graph it. So at this point, we should be pretty comfortable with the steps for graphing. I can tell you the domain, that should be everything except for positive 3. We can factor this. That's x minus 5, x plus 1 over x minus 3. That'd make your x-intercept 5 or negative 1. We have a y-intercept of 5 over 3. We have a vertical asymptote at x equals positive 3. And for HA, we would write none, but instead we're going to write OA for oblique asymptote. And again, the way we do that is we're going to use long division. So we did this a while ago, so we got to quickly review this. X squared minus 4x minus 5, x minus 3. So I need an x here. We multiply, we subtract, and that would be negative x. Drop down the minus 5, and then minus 1. That's negative x plus 3. We subtract that, minus 8, and there we go. We did the long division. Remember, for the oblique asymptote, we don't care about the remainder. We disregard that. This is going to be what we want. So for oblique, we write y equals x minus 1. And just like your horizontal, we have to check, will it cross your oblique asymptote? And to do that, it's the same thing you did earlier. You write f of x would equal the oblique asymptote. So x squared minus 4x minus 5, divide that by x minus 3. That should equal x minus 1. And we're going to see if we can solve this. We multiply. So x squared minus 4x minus 5, that equals x squared minus 4x plus 3. Notice this all cancels. Negative 5 does not equal 3. So there is no cross. Okay, let's graph. So I got my intercepts. I got 5. I'll label that nicely. 5, 0. I have negative 1. And then 5/3. Let's say that's about right there. Then I have a vertical asymptote at 3. and then y equals x minus 1, so just graph that. The y-intercept is -1, and the slope is +1, so over 1, up 1. And let's draw that out. And let's graph. And what's really cool is we know it can't cross the oblique because we proved it right here. You can never cross your vertical, which means we have the general shape. This should connect and approach your asymptote. This will go up and approach your asymptote. And again, on the other side, that'll approach, and this will also approach. And that's our complete graph. Here's our next example. The graph of f of x equals x to the fourth plus 1 over x squared is shown below. Explain why it has no intercepts, a parabolic asymptote, and a vertical asymptote at x equals 1. So let's do it piece by piece. So there's no intercepts. Well, that would be because if you make x to the fourth plus 1 equals x squared equal to 0, you multiply by x squared, that's gone. You get x to the fourth plus 1 equals 0. X to the fourth equals -1. This has no real solution. So there's no x-intercept here. So we'll put, therefore, there's no x-intercept. And then if you plug in 0, f of 0, you get 0 plus 1 over 0, which is undefined. You can't divide by 0. Therefore, there's no y-intercept. So that takes care of our intercepts. A parabolic asymptote. So that's kind of cool. That's saying, look at this thing right here. This is a parabolic asymptote. So it's asking, why is that happening? Well, let's do long division. So if I do long division, x to the fourth plus 1 divided by x squared. Notice how I need some placeholders here, so I'm going to have to extend this thing a bit. 0x to the third plus 0x squared plus 0x plus 1. That's x squared. That's going to be x to the fourth. Let's subtract. So now I just have 1, and that can no longer divide, so plus 1 over x squared. We get rid of the remainder, so right there. Our oblique asymptote is y equals x squared. We proved that through long division. And the final part, the vertical asymptote. If you look at the bottom, we can see that x squared equals 0, then x should equal 0. Therefore, your vertical asymptote is x equals 0. I'll put a colon right there. I'll make it a little cleaner actually. Let's pull this down. We'll make a note that f of x is already simplified. So, and there it is. That's every piece we needed.